Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Day After Podcast.
What is up, guys? Ryan Neo Wayne here. We got Joe King, and you may notice we have another person with us for a review of the Merge episode. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Matt. Thanks for having me. Ryan, we've met in person at that Survivor party. Joe, it's nice to see you again. This is actually going to be interesting for us because we played Vanquish together and we were at odds. And then we did the Heroes versus Villains draft and we were at odds. So it's going to be
Yeah.
interesting to do something where we are working together. So it's almost like we are on a Survivor Series team, and I'm just waiting for you to turn your back on me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we had the opportunity a few times to work together, but it just never ended up happening in that Survivor. So
It'd be like that. Be like that.
yeah,
So,
definitely. Well, first off, before we get into like all the episode, I just want to know, like, Matt, how are you? Like, a bunch of fun stuff happening with Vanquish. How are you enjoying this season of Survivor?
Oh, well, I would put it in the bottom five right now, although last night's episode was pretty good.
Mhm.
But
yeah.
it's still in bottom five for me. This isn't Survivor. I don't know what this is, but this is Jeff's Candyland, I guess, some Playland. There we go. That's better.
Man, no. Yeah, the group consensus has been that 46 is a very low tier season. But last night was a highlight, being one of the better ones.
Mhm.
A lot of twists, a lot of like, okay, we don't know what's gonna happen, how are the numbers gonna go? Things that would have been obvious turned out not to be obvious. And
Mhm.
it was fun to watch. From the challenge, from seeing all the different dynamics and everything. It was good.
Yeah, definitely. What I've said a lot throughout the season, Matt, is I feel like because didn't expect this to be 90-minute episodes for Survivor. They kind of had to like pivot like pretty late into it. So I feel like they had to add a lot of filler, a lot of random things that should be deleted scenes, to stretch it out. And I think this episode, because of the double format this way, it felt more natural to have more time for it. So I think it did benefit at least this episode, the 90 minutes.
Oh, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Although I don't know if Tim's not being able to poop scene would be a deleted scene. I mean, that was top tier content. I'm just saying.
I'm
Ryan
not a big fan
absolutely,
of time.
yeah, he hates toilet humor and potty stuff like that. So
I don't blame
It
you.
has to be very well done for in order for me to appreciate it. Like my grandma said, shit a monkey, and I was like, okay, that's pretty funny. Mostly because I didn't expect her to say that. But
Okay.
yeah.
Also, it's physically impossible to shit a monkey, at least as far as I know.
Mhm.
I would imagine there's a lot that goes into that for
Yeah.
that to be possible, but
uh
yeah. No, I mean, we start off this episode, I mean, where it was like, it's like Venus is starting crap right off the bat. It's like, Soda, did you vote for me? Soda, did you vote for me? And, that's not the energy you should be bringing. And then, of course, like, then the truth comes out. And then Vina's like, "Oh yeah, I don't want to hear it. We'll talk about it in the morning," which is like the worst time. It's like, no, you might as well dish it out all right there, so that way you can get some closure before you have to try and fall asleep. Because how are you gonna sleep with all that shit in your mind?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then obviously then they all start blowing up with Venus and Soda, and then Charlie decides to like let's like stop it. Like that is absolutely terrible gameplay right there. Of
Yeah,
if you see chaos happening that you caused, don't tell them you caused it. Like let the chaos, like you gotta free out.
Yeah. Look,
yeah.
luckily for us, Q was there to put Charlie in his place. And I just want to say, I will never want to play with Q. He would be annoying to play with.
Oh yeah.
No,
It,
I don't know. The thing is about Q, it is definitely in his mind the Q show, and he keeps saying that. And I think it's a great because I know a lot of people are like saying, "Oh, Survivor doesn't have any villains anymore," but I'm like, this is a
yeah.
villain right here. And he's getting that, he's brazen. He's always switching up like his thing, and even his closest allies are like, Q's kind of on a power trip. We don't really, and like it's crazy. He's always like telling people how things should be done. If he doesn't like what the people are doing, like Tim was collateral damage for things not going Q's way.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Q is, I mean, just being a domineering force like that, I mean, it's just like painting a huge target on him. I definitely feel like he's going to be in the crosshairs in the next couple of tribals because of especially everything that happened in this episode.
oh, definitely.
Oh,
Also, Joe, I feel like
Mhm.
you would like Q because Q seems to have your type of gameplay where if you're not playing my game, then you have to go. I feel like that would be something you would say and probably want.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's true. I mean, at least with our Survivor game, that's what I was doing a lot.
Mhm.
yeah. Uh, I remember your confessional just going crazy. It's like, you're not playing the Joe game. It's like, you know, be careful how you cast stones, good Joe.
Yeah, yeah.
Your
Well,
initial Survivor game was,
well, that is fun in confessionals, but I feel like Q has been doing it to
Oh,
people's faces.
oh, he definitely has.
that's
Like it was
Yeah.
it was fine when he was doing it with Banu.
Yeah.
Like you can be my Philip. Probably because Banu didn't understand that. But like
Mhm.
him just like talking down to Charlie and like everybody
Yeah.
else is like, I would not like that.
Yeah, yeah,
no,
it's definitely not great gameplay. And I feel like because he was doing that with Bonu, he like brought over that into the merge. Like because he was doing it there, he was like, "Oh, I guess I can just do it here with these other people," which Bonu was his own case.
I don't know. Maybe it's just like, I don't know. Maybe because he is like a strong dude around there, he feels like, oh, he has to in that. And maybe it's that football mentality of like, okay,
Mhm.
there's got to be something there that's like really, what's the right word? It's something where he keeps doing it, and it's like he should be more self-aware of like
Mhm.
how he's acting. He was talking about self-awareness with Q a lot, and or not Q, Banu a lot, and with Charlie, it's like, hey, you can't do that. He's like explaining all this stuff, though the number one thing is don't be the biggest personality and don't come off as like my way or the highway, because no one puts up with the Boston Rob anymore.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. So yeah, that's how we kicked off the episode. And then right after this, then we also get the whole scene with Ben. He's having a panic attack and getting comforted by we see Kenzie and Liz, I believe both of
Yeah,
them were kind of the main ones kind of around him in that time. So it was a nice kind of like moment, especially I think for Kenzie, because she's been so in the Yanu kind of like trenches
yeah.
of negativity that they actually kind of gave her a good positive moment here, which I was like, okay, we're seeing some good stuff happening there for her.
There is one thing I also noticed, and this is just like my eye for detail,
Mhm.
that in that confessional, her nail polish was a lot more worn out. Like there was parts of it missing. And then when it cut back into later on in that episode, her nail polish was still intact. So I think she actually makes it really far into this game as a result of that. Uh,
I
or that and Ben make it further into this game, I
Yeah,
feel, because of that
Yeah.
one confessional.
I definitely agree with that. I think Kinsey is the underdog. Well, not the underdog now. Probably the favorite of who's going to make
Yeah,
it the farthest because
Mhm.
she got a bunch of confessionals. Probably because Yanu sucked, but she's still getting those confessionals, and they are very important moments. Like we got this confessional to show us why Ben was saved at this tribal later on.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see them at least making final five or so, like the two of them, because it's especially with like Ben. I feel like Ben is someone who wouldn't be getting at as big of an edit. Like I feel like he is a very big presence, even though he's not really doing much. But like we're always checking in on Ben. Like what's
yeah,
happening with Ben? Like, and he's always somewhat in a decent spot, even though we're not really seeing his strategic side. It's more like he's just here to chill and have fun. He's just being himself.
yeah. and I think one great thing about him is, and I mean, like, I think he had a very nice moment within tribal council where he was giving something heartfelt. It was like, oh, people just keep me around for the entertainment value and whatnot, and not the deep talks. Like
Mhm.
that was a great moment. But I think with Ben, the thing is, it's like if you think about it, he has a similar vibe in the sense of like Carolyn, where it's like he's like an out there personality that a lot of people misjudge right off the bat. But
Mhm.
like he is someone who is deeper and stuff like that. He just, you know, that's not what a lot of people's first impressions are not. I wouldn't even say that, but, like, that's what a lot of people get is, like, "Oh, the entertainment," and, like, that, but, like, don't really give the chance to, like, get to know Ben.
Mhm. Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
I agree with that. Just because you're talking about Ben and Tribal, I just want because since you're a stickler for detail, did you notice during his emotional thing that you see Q in the background like rolling his eyes?
I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't see that. That's
Yeah, yeah, because he was like, "Oh, come on!" It's like because maybe Ben was talking for like 20 minutes, so maybe that's the part they showed. But it's like, man,
Rookie
they're really
numbers.
paying Q as villain.
I think, yeah. I think I don't know. It's one of those things where and I think that was another thing about a complaint that a lot of people had. It was like, "There's no new villains or anything." Q is that villain, like I said. Also, Venus. Well, I don't know. Venus is in like in this limbo spot where some people really love her, but also it's like she is a villain. I wouldn't say she's like mastermind villain, but like,
she's
and well,
definitely a
definitely,
Courtney Yates villain. Like, I
yeah,
think people like her because they're like, "Ooh, she's telling it like it is," but then also like she's telling it like it is sometimes a little too much.
I
yeah,
would actually say she's more like a Corinne over Courtney because Courtney was
Mhm.
funny, but Corinne was just kind of like a total B. That's how I'm getting with the Venus, especially during that scene with her and Maria later in the episode.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So I believe we go straight to the challenge, right? I believe that's the next thing that happens. And it was a pretty fun challenge. Like we've seen this challenge a bunch, but it felt like a sitcom of this challenge.
yeah. And I think they've kind of done that a lot with this season where it's kind of been either meta or kind of poked fun of itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's like one of the things where it's like, yeah, I would imagine like they are standing around for 2 hours and whatnot. Well, not 2 hours for this one, but it's like they're standing around for a while. I would imagine it's not just them being fully in the zone. They would do something to pass the time, like play theater games that no one understood the rules to except for Q.
Yeah. And seeing him
Baltimore. Okay, Baltimore guys.
and just seeing him get
Uh,
so mad and frustrated because no one got it. Um,
Charlie definitely did, but you could tell he was messing with a Q.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I just think it's so funny that Jeff Probst like knows about the meme of Jelensky while still out there on the island of literally saying it's been
yeah,
several
Several
days,
days.
it's like the fact that he's the one to reference Jelensky in this way and everyone to say he's a legend. It's just uh
he is.
I
The
mean, he
legend lives
definitely.
on.
I mean, how many people have gotten a the episode title named after them when they were voted out in the first episode? I mean,
yeah,
he is a legend just for
exactly.
that.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw his exit interview, but apparently they almost named the merged tribe Jelensky.
Yeah, I mean, he said that, but
What?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, he said that. I don't think
yeah,
that was probably a joke that
No.
they said,
yeah,
but
and then he took it serious.
yeah, because he
Oh,
doesn't know how to read things.
speaking of him, he's now selling merch. I don't know if you guys want any Zelensky merch.
Zelensky merch, that's the
It
best
depends
Survivor merch.
what it is, but I don't know. Like the dude is a salesman. I don't know. It depends what it. If it was like his silhouette and the legend underneath, I think that'd be a good
No,
one.
no, it was just
Or
something. It was something basic, and then people were commenting. It should say several up, and then I have like the 7 Up logo or stuff like that. But it was basically just like Jolinsky.
come on.
Yeah.
No, but no, and there was also another funny thing where Tim was on there is like, "What's up, Jeff?" And then Jeff's like, "What's up?" And then
Thanks for the
Q,
shout out.
it was like that's how black people ask what time it is. And it's like and Jeff was just having fun, was like, you learn so much on the show.
And then
He's like, what else
Tim
are we gonna
asked
say? It's,
and then Tim asked him again, and then Jeff says 23 minutes, and then Tim's like, yeah.
he learned.
But yeah, definitely it seemed like everyone was doing pretty good at this challenge for the most part. Like I feel like
Yeah.
you do see some people go out pretty early, like at least a couple people drop, but at least for a while, like everyone was in it. I think, did everyone make it to like them having to
Yeah,
stand on the
I
top thing, right?
I think so too. Maybe somebody dropped out.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Yeah.
think because
Well,
I
I mean, well, that wasn't the last. So they started on the like
Second round.
last like perch before
Yeah,
the
yeah,
top, and then when it went to the top, then people started really dropping.
yeah,
And then when they were like, "Hey, do it with one leg," that's when it just went down super fast. Like I blinked,
yeah.
and then Kenzie won immunity on the purple side.
yeah,
Yeah, I
barely.
think when they usually do this, like it's only like 3 or 4 people are left when they get to the top thing.
Yeah,
So it was
Well,
definitely,
it was probably because, as Jeff commented, how the ocean was basically like a lake. There's no
yeah.
waves, nothing. So
Yeah, yeah, which is crazy considering the beginning of the season. Like there's choppy water, and it
yeah,
was a lot of that was happening very early on. So now it's all totally cool and everything. So yeah, definitely a bit longer of a endurance challenge. Especially in this modern era, there's like the endurance challenges, like they're trying to like reduce the amount of time I feel for a lot of these challenges.
mhm.
So definitely interesting. But a Q another thing from Q, he purposely dropped out of the challenge,
Yes,
is what
yeah,
he said. So
yeah. So it has to be accurate. I mean,
yeah,
which is weird that so he's saying he quit this, but earlier in the season he says he never quit. So I'm not sure which story it really
yeah,
is.
whatever fits
you
best for
know
him.
what? Yeah, summed it up perfect, Joe. No, I feel it's one of those things where it's like some people don't want to admit they've lost in that
Mhm.
regard, and like he was like, "Oh, it was all strategy and whatnot." It's one thing to try and make a positive out of a bad situation, but it's a whole other thing to be like, "Oh, that was all my plan. That was the
Yeah,
plan the whole time."
yeah, I don't think he
Like,
was winning
no,
this challenge, to be honest.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah. None of the big guys were. I mean, this is not for them.
yeah,
no, no. But yeah, it was going on for a while, and then yeah, then it came down to Tevin, and it came down to Maria, and
mhm,
it was touch and go. Like, Tevin, even though he ended up falling, had one of the best recoveries in probably the history of Survivor, where
yeah,
like he was like bending like all the way over to the other side, but was still able to get his composure back, albeit for what might have been like 30 seconds, but like still like
yeah,
incredible. But yeah, and obviously with the stakes being as high it was, because like going into this challenge, they were like, yeah, so whoever you want to last longest, because the team that lasts longest, you know, they're, they get to the second tribal council, because whoever goes first, that person doesn't make jury. And that's always like a gut punch, because like, oh man, you never want to be 13th or 12th, because it's like you came so far, you came so close, especially in
yeah,
that scenario where it's like you legit just had to have lasted one more and you would have done it. Or
yeah.
someone on your team just had to have lasted longer than the other person, and then you would have gotten, yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on this kind of twist, Matt, of this double tribal where one doesn't make jury, one makes the jury?
Well, I actually cut well because I think this is the first season where they've done that where the first tribe that goes doesn't make the jury, but the second one does. That I
We're
actually
moving
like.
4 to 5.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
and
45.
45. Okay, well, never mind then. I'm an idiot. Wait, who was?
It
Well, no,
was
because I
a
know
it was
because
Sifu and
yeah,
Caleb.
I know
Yeah,
Sifu and who was the other one who got voted out?
Caleb.
Caleb.
Caleb was the first jury member.
Got it. Okay. For some reason, I thought that was a group thing. Okay, well, never
Mhm.
mind. Forget that. But I do kind of like the idea of the first tribe not making merge and the second one making it. But I do not like these tribals because, as I've told Ryan before, I think Jeff only likes only 6 people being at risk, which is why we get starting tribes of 6. Then at the merge, they are split up into teams. Now they're split up into teams again. And then last
Mhm.
season, when they were at the final 9, three people lost their votes. So I just don't think Jeff thinks the fans are smart enough to follow if like 9 people are in danger.
Yeah, I think it's also just he doesn't want to talk to a lot of people and these at tribal council, like maybe it goes on too long and he's like, I got to go to bed at a certain time, everyone. Like let's call it.
Exactly. We only have 26 days now, guys. I'm not paying overtime.
Yeah, I think part of it too is it's harder to hide, and it does make more aggressive. In theory, it's supposed to have more aggressive gameplay because it's like, well, where do I hide? If it's a big group like 8 or 9, you'll have some people that are kind of like, I don't want to say like coasting by, but it's like, oh, like it's a lot safer numbers to be in a big group like that because you're not the
Mhm.
biggest target. Or odds are you won't be the biggest target. Whereas if you're in a group of 6 or like shorter, or there's only 5 or 6 people available to vote for, it really the knives start to come out a lot faster as opposed to a bigger tribe where it's like, okay, we can kind of play it by ear, see where things go. So I think it is to kind of like light the fire on a lot of people's butts and whatnot. That
Um,
being said, I do kind of miss like a big jury vote in the beginning or a
Yeah.
big merch vote. One thing I will say, though I do enjoy the twist, I feel like it should be one or the other because it's like earn the merge and then
yeah,
this.
I
Yeah.
agree with that.
Where it feels like it's not necessarily like it's the same thing, but they're like cousins. They're not like siblings, but they're like cousin. Um, if you catch my drift.
Uh-huh. Yeah, if they did something like this, but this is the earn the merge where whatever side it like
Yeah. Ooh,
is.
I like that too. Yeah,
Yeah,
that would
like
be
that,
good.
like whatever side wins like this, it gets that jury spot. They make the merge, but maybe they still have to like take someone out, so it's still an immunity. And then the other tribe, they just have one person with immunity, but then they're not at risk, and or they are at risk and don't make the jury. Whoever goes there, like that could be a way to do earn the merge and this, but like the
Yeah,
simplicity of it needs to kind of get added, I think.
Yeah,
agreed.
yeah. But
Uh,
no. But yeah, how the tribes were divided, that was another thing. It was like we had 2 Siga members on one side with two or like with 4 of the Nami tribe.
mhm,
And then on the other side, we got Hunter all on his lonesome with 3 of the original Yanus and 2 of the Namis. And
mhm.
so like all the numbers, they were like pretty big targets going into it, and neither of those targets turn out to be like the names that were actually talked about or like were the serious target to get rid of, which was kind
Yeah.
of nuts.
Yeah, I also think it's crazy that Yanu has always been on the same group,
Well,
even in the Earn the Merge and then this. Like,
if you actually look at the teams, especially the exact same teams, except now Tevin is not on the other side.
Yeah,
It's
mhm,
like clearly the same teams as last time.
that's
which is
wild.
which is weird how a random draw worked out that way twice.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
rock. I mean rocks. I mean Ben is right. It does not rock.
Rocks don't rock.
It does not rock.
Um, No. But like it is one of those things where they go to the feast and then like Charlie is just freaking out because he's just like
Yeah,
like internalizing
fair.
that because it's like everyone's talking because they feel they're cool. But Charlie's like, I'm dead. I'm dead. This was a nice little parting gift, this meal, but yeah. And then it turns out that all this hostility that Nami has built up over the
Mhm,
course of the game, it finally is like, okay, let's take out Anami. It's like all the knives are coming out, and it's just like, oh, I want to kill, or oh, I want to take out Soda. Oh, I want to take out Venus. Oh, I want to take out Tevin. And like, you got Liz just there, and like, Falco, however. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I just felt like we were definitely destined for this Venus Soda blood feud that was happening. It felt like that was a huge part of the
yeah,
Nami rivalry between these two. I figured it was one of the two of them, and I feel like Venus has gotten, I guess, at least shown more. So I figured she would win out over Soda here. Um, so so I kind of was like, okay, we're seeing a lot of Soda like mentioning here. So I definitely went into here actually kind of thinking like, okay, this is probably a good time to do a flip onto Soda.
yeah, yeah,
Definitely agree because Venus was the obvious one, and
Mhm,
like now's when you kind of want to make it to make the move. I mean,
mhm.
although it would have been really fun if Tevin got taken out, just because nobody probably would have seen that coming.
Yeah, that would have been wild. To be honest, I think that was the better move that was crafted, but
yeah.
also like sometimes the better move can be a scary move to pull off.
Like I feel like voting off Soda was probably the best in the sense of like a good healthy balance. Because like the thing about Venus, and this is one thing that could get her way further in the game than one could predict, is the fact of like, oh, we can take out Venus anytime because we know
Yeah,
her game. She's not the biggest threat right now. She's a threat, but not the biggest threat. Well, sometimes you let that slide too much, and then boom, they're in the final three. So there is a path to the end for Venus, and I feel like
yeah,
this time around, it's definitely becoming more and more possible. I wouldn't say necessarily as a goat, but someone where because her jury management and social game isn't the best, you bring her because can she really win over the jury?
yeah. I definitely feel like if she just survives a few more, like there's going to hit a point where it's like, why take out Venus? Like, let's just take her to the end because I definitely would find it crazy if she gets more than like a vote, and that even that vote would be like, wow, someone voted for Venus.
Yeah,
Probably Soda because Venus was taking all the credit for Soda being voted out.
Well, I mean, if like if Tevin's there, like I feel like Soda's definitely voting Tevin over
Oh yeah.
Venus.
Speaking of Venus, has there been anybody like her in the new era who's made it to the finals? I don't think so, right? Because it's been mostly nice people, right?
Yeah, it's been mostly good spirited people, I'd say. I feel like we've had some people who might have been Venuses, but they always go out like very quickly.
Okay.
So we don't
who
really
was
see
it?
them.
My winner pick for 42. What was her name?
Tori.
Oh, Tori.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, she was. I mean, she was happy. I mean, Sydney was mean from 41. She was mean. She would, if she
Yeah.
would have made it farther, she would have been Venus,
Yeah,
or Venus would have been her.
I would definitely agree, and I wanted her honestly to make it further. Like she was fun.
Yep.
yeah,
But unfortunately, hourglasses, man,
Yeah,
they really get you.
she's the most
yeah.
deserving of being on a
Zelensky
second
knew. He
chances.
Yeah.
Yeah,
knew. He saw that hourglass. Was like, no.
yeah, that's really what made him a legend was the
Yeah.
hourglass.
Well, and then also the intern who had to clean up all that glass in the sand is
Oh,
definitely a legend.
Yeah,
yeah. I wonder if they
someone
had to like
didn't
just
think that
like
through.
tape it off and then like say, "Hey guys, don't come over here."
I didn't think about that, but yeah, uh, I don't think Zelensky really thought that through when he put glass in the beach of sand where a lot of that shit can be hidden.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He's a legend.
Yes, yes. But yeah. So we had all this going on the Orange tribe or the Orange team that was going to Tribal Council. But the one where everyone else was very much sweating was over on the purple side, where the only person that wasn't was obviously Kenzie because she won immunity. And then we have the Journey peeps coming together, and then like, Q being like, shouldn't we just get rid of, the odd person out because they're gonna be great at challenges. But no, not better than me. Q is like, no, I can beat Hunter in everything. Uh
Despite
his
Hunter
ego.
being significantly better in every challenge that Hunter has been a part
Yeah,
of.
that's true. But
Even in this challenge, Hunter lasts longer than you, so it's like,
Well,
Q through it, so we already know
yeah.
that.
So
I don't
that doesn't
know.
count.
It doesn't count. Doesn't count.
Oh
But
yeah,
I did like the conversation between Q and Tim of like Q's like we have to take out Ben, and then Tim's like, no, Hunter, no, but he's +1, but he's Nami, but he's +1, he's Nami.
Yeah, Tim is definitely revealed all of his cards, I feel, in the last episode and this episode in ways that were not good for anyone who wants to work with him besides the Sega people.
Yeah.
yeah. I think that the thing is, it's like it's because Nami and Yanu or the Yanu tribe was so like, oh, you don't want to give a name? Okay, we're gonna take you out. We're definitely gonna go after Mo this time. And so it's like, how do you pivot from that? Because hey, they're saying, let's take out another Sega member right now, and then it's like doing it two in a row. When are you? You know, this feels like a one-sided relationship where you're getting everything you want. We're not getting what we want. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, and because of it, I mean, now there's as many Sega members who made the jury phase as the Yanu who got completely decimated early on. So,
yeah,
Oh wow, I didn't think about that. Wow, you're right. Good
yeah,
point, Joe.
yeah, I know. I have the names of everyone right here in front of me.
Oh,
So,
okay. So you're just looking at things. Never mind then. I
yeah,
thought you were just pulling that out. I mean, I was like,
yeah. I mean,
that's
I
impressive.
definitely thought of it and then looked to make sure, but
Okay.
yeah,
yeah. Fact checks himself.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, now right now it's 3-4-3. You know, Nami being the four. So it is they're still in a position, but the thing is it's like they're so fractured, and I'm pretty sure once they all come together and kind of figure out what happened, you know, I will say it is kind of tough to see where the this group goes from here. Like I know they have like a
Mhm,
certain edit and whatnot, but I feel like there's so many things, so many different factors that kind of like play into it. It's really hard to be like, who is the next person to go? And I mean, that is an interesting thing because it's like, okay, I'm not going to the next episode. I'm like, oh, well, Q is going to go. I was like, maybe it's not Q. Granted, he's crazy, you know, like he's definitely
uh-huh.
bringing that big target on his back, but is he actually going to do it? Because Yanu is in this spot where they're kind of like playing in the middle, similar to the Tika from last season or from 44. You know, it's something where it's not written in stone or the writing's not on the wall, basically.
Mhm. Definitely, definitely. Yeah, it's going to be interesting moving forward. I mean, obviously Nami's still got the numbers, even losing Soda here.
I mean,
So
do they really have the numbers? Because
yeah,
Venus is really on.
yeah,
She's
they're
like
definitely imploding.
yeah, she's like her own. And I
Yeah.
definitely feel like Tevin is definitely going to go after her for taking all the credit of the soda blindside. Because in Tevin's confessional this episode, he was like, "I want to be the one who curates the first blindside." Like he sounded like this guy Joe from Vanquish Candyland. I don't know if you've ever met him.
No, I don't believe so. But sounds
Any
like a great
relation?
guy.
You know, you two kind of look. Uh, well, I mean, like his name was like Joe Kingpin, so no
Yeah,
relation.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm just joking. So it's
Yeah,
Yeah.
mine is a whole pin.
yeah, yeah. But no.
But yeah, no,
Uh,
Nami is definitely fractured. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we lose like another two Nami people in like pretty close to succession here.
Yeah, I definitely see Tevin going in with the next two. And
Mhm,
then I say Q is, I mean, if Q makes it 3 more episodes, I'll be surprised. He either
yeah,
next or the one after.
yeah. Maybe he's gonna win out. I mean, maybe he's telling the
Yeah,
truth.
maybe,
yeah,
but he also brought up a point about when Tim said we have to get out Hunter because he's a physical threat, and Q's like nobody's going to win 10 challenges in a row, but maybe Q can,
Yeah,
as long as he does it because he doesn't quit, man, unless if
well, I
he
mean,
needs
like,
to.
here's the thing. The math isn't mathing. There's only a final three. So that means he would only have to win seven in a row. So yes, no one will win 10 in a row
Yeah.
because it's mathematically
mhm,
Maybe he was counting the reward challenges if they have them.
yeah,
maybe.
You never
yeah,
know, man. He's playing 4D chess, man.
yeah. Also, there's an idol out there. for the merge most likely. So could
Yeah,
always
he
find
could
that.
potentially.
Yeah, they have not brought that up at all. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, I know. I was also thinking, I was like, did I miss something? Did I forget? But no, I don't believe. Yeah, there's been nothing of a merge idol.
Because there's only two idols right now, like Hunter and Tiff.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Who had the green
So,
one? Oh,
That
it
was
was
Gem.
Jim. That was yeah. Wasn't that your winner pick?
Yeah, that was my
Yeah,
winner pick.
yeah.
Yeah,
Weird how
can't
I
give
brought that one
you
up.
can't give him too much shit because Mo was mine and she got eliminated the very next episode.
Oh
yeah.
God,
Uh,
why did you pick Mo? What
That's
did you
what I
say?
said.
I
That is what I said.
well first she was nerdy and stuff and I liked the vibe. Also, I didn't remember if I saw her at the Bryson win
Or Liz?
or Kenzie.
Oh, I thought you were wait. You got Mo
Yeah,
and Kinsey mixed up. I thought you were going to say Liz because they're like the same.
yeah. I get the
No, they're
Mo and
different.
Liz way more than I get Mo and Kenzie.
I remembered a redhead, but my focus wasn't fully on the 46 peeps. And I'm like, I'll get to know them later. The only one like I knew for sure was like there was like Ben because Ben has like a unique look. And like the other people there, and we all know that my focus was in other places. But anyway, uh but yeah. So I was
Yeah,
like, well, one of them was there, so one of them probably I don't know if I choose Ben as my winner pick because that would be too obvious. So I chose Mo. I also liked her bio and everything. So I'm like, yeah, Mo.
yeah,
Also, I've lost someone at Earn the Merge before. So the thing is, it's like the sting is no longer there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This is the first time I've ever picked someone who didn't at least make the jury phase as my winner pick. So
Oh wow. Okay.
yeah.
I,
This hurts.
yeah, I will say the draft, it's kind of crazy how even it is.
Hmm.
Because right now, our placements where they draft are totally tied. Like his last pick and my last pick are both gone. Our first picks are both gone. Someone placed at seventh was or like I think who are both of our six picks were gone. And then, you know, funny enough, both Tim and Soda were our eighth picks
Gee.
and they
Okay.
both went out the same episode. So it's
Yeah.
like kind of crazy how it all
So
is
so
matched.
so who has Ben then? Because I feel like Ben is like probably
I
gonna
have
make it
been.
far. Okay. Then
Mhm.
then then who did you draft during that round? Because that'll probably be another finalist.
I could probably pull it
And
up
I hope
here.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll pull up your podcast and listen. Just
yeah. Just try to find the
yeah,
the
find that
audio.
one
that's a
moment.
better strategy for finding the thing. I
Yeah.
think Joe will
Okay.
probably.
So Ryan picked Ben third. I picked Maria third.
Maria's been my winner pick since the first episode because I
Yeah.
always pick it after the first episode because I
Hmm.
don't like the preseason prep stuff.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I mean,
That's
I think Maria's got a pretty good chance to make it pretty far too.
Oh yeah.
Potential winner edits also, I feel.
Mhm.
I can see
Agreed.
that. I can also see maybe Charlie. I still think that honestly, I can see Kenzie winning this.
Same.
Yeah.
Especially now,
Um,
especially after last night.
Yeah, last
yeah,
night definitely helped her case. I wouldn't have picked her as a potential person to win previously, but I definitely got a lot
Well,
more
well,
positive stuff.
because we got to see
I
her
should have.
as a human last night, which is the
Yeah,
first time. So
yeah,
I chose
yeah,
the wrong redhead. That was
yeah,
my joke last week. I chose the wrong red. I didn't remember if the redhead I saw had glasses or not. And
okay.
so I was like, okay, it's one
Man,
of the
man, you
two.
really were distracted. I feel like I would not mix up Mo and Kinsey at all.
Shut up.
Okay.
This is before I knew their names.
I know, no, still, but just by the looks. I mean,
by looks, yeah, it's
Yeah,
definitely
because Kinsey
surprising.
has all those tattoos and everything. I mean, she has like a distinct look.
I didn't remember if I saw. This is why I'm not good at solving crimes or whatever.
And also
I
spelling.
know I have an eye for detail, but those weren't the details I was looking for.
Okay.
uh, okay, well, so so
All
so
that was
what else was there in this episode for us to discuss about?
Before tribal, let's see here. Nothing really. I mean, just
It
Q.
yeah.
Kinsey and Tiff making fun of Q and
Yeah.
him being
Yeah.
indecisive, and then Kinsey's like, "Well, but in a couple of minutes, Q's gonna come back and say, hey guys, I'm voting for a me."
Yeah, yeah. This
Another thing, yeah,
oh, no, go ahead.
Hunter, Guts of Steel not playing his idol on the surface is a situation where he probably should have, but like
It,
he had the guts to know, hey, I'm
it
not going out here.
I don't know if it
Mhm,
was Gus, but it felt like it was a fake out to us where he was nervous because
mhm.
because everything else seemed like it was definitely going to be Tim or Ben. So I don't feel
Yeah.
like he was like ever really in danger. Maybe in the opening moments, kind of like how Charlie was, but then
Yeah.
once they started talking, it was kind of obvious.
I mean, we've all played a game before, so a game or two. So we know how sometimes it's like you don't really know what kind of conversations you have are real. Like I've had conversations with people where I'm like, totally tight. Final two. When that's not the case. Or yeah, I don't know, Matt, did you listen to Corey's whole thing on me?
Oh yeah, he
He
was not
tore
nice. He was not
he
nice on you, man.
he did not like me at all. I'm like, well, damn.
Yeah,
Uh,
Yeah.
he burned you more than I did during the draft. I was like, damn, Corey.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
It seems like there's a
Uh,
couple people who are on the villain tribe that did not like Ryan very much.
there's specifically two. Um,
Uh,
oh well. One of them doesn't play anymore. The other one, you know, there's still redemption. I will say. I'm just gonna say that. Um, Anywho, but like it's one of the things where it's like you don't truly know what conversations people are having until the vote. The vote is when trust is gained. And so like when you're out there, like idle plays when people are misplaying an idol and stuff like that, it's like you truly don't know how good of a liar some other people are. So it's like you
mhm.
never know.
True, but also in actual Survivor, I feel like it's easier to know about the
It
conversations
is easier.
because you're seeing people actually walk off and have those conversations.
Yeah.
That is fair. But you never know if they're like lying to the other person or they're lying to you. Because it's like,
But you're not
what's the
allowed to lie in Survivor. It's a game about truth.
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
totally. Um,
I mean, Joe and I, we had to go way back. He's been playing D&D for like 20 years or something. I don't even remember. But
Yes,
you're a big D&D fan.
yeah, since I was a baby, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
I
no.
mean, I
Um,
dabbled.
Yeah, yeah, just enough to carry that lie, but it was kind of
Yeah.
obvious when
It
you look
was
back.
definitely obvious, but just enough where it's like
Like,
you probably wouldn't call me out straight up, at least
yeah,
for a bit.
because I was
to be honest,
huh.
I had no idea that he was bullshitting our entire podcast up until 45. I had no idea that from 39 onwards, he never watched a single episode of Survivor, and he just was like getting cliff notes from I don't know where,
I know.
and
I
had
mean,
all these strong.
it's so impressive. I mean, he just knows just enough to cover his ass. But if we ever
Yeah.
look into details, he won't know stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, don't even worry
Exactly.
about the details.
Yeah.
Just just here's my proof. Let's call it good.
Fair
uh
point.
Okay. Well, let's talk about tribal both different tribals here. Starting off with obviously the Tim boot, which it was pretty interesting. I kind of saw it, the writing on the walls, how it was Q was definitely not happy with Tim for a lot of it. So yeah.
Nah. Well, I mean, yeah, because he's going home, and it's like one of the things where it
Yeah.
was like we were supposed to be good, and now you're just flipping it on me, and like it's
Yeah.
like he kind of definitely had buyer's remorse with this whole journey thing. Granted, he wanted to go on a bigger threat with someone from the journey thing, but like there was no
Yeah.
other option because like he's not going to be like, "Hey, let's take out, Tiffany or anything like that." It's like,
Yeah.
no, like you guys need to lose someone, or like no, the Nami people need to lose someone. It only makes sense. Granted,
Yeah.
the idol was gonna, if that was the case, I'm pretty sure Hunter plays his idol there, and then
So,
it probably would have been someone from Sega anyway.
yeah, it would have been Ben then. Wait, no, it would have been who did Ben and Tim
It
vote
was
for?
between Ben and Tim.
And Hunter. Yeah, it could be
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
because Hunter saw yeah. So it would have
Yeah.
been Tim no matter what, or Ben, whatever.
Yeah, potentially Ben if they didn't like clue Hunter in. Like if he was kind of like, oh, it's gonna be me, he might have just taken out Ben to potentially preserve the six if that's what he wanted to do. But who knows?
Do you want to know a sad fact that I realized while watching this? Because I figured Tim was going to go, and then I realized the last four people to be voted out right before the jury are men, people of color. Because last season was
Yeah,
Sifu, then it was Josh, then it was Dwight. So
yeah,
it's just like there's a there's a trend going on.
I noticed that too. It's
Weird
been brought up
statistic.
before
Yeah.
also. I know
Uh,
42 had like a huge thing about that where like a lot of people of
well,
color were
Yeah.
going out.
yeah, that was after
Yeah.
because Lydia was the uh, person before
Yeah.
jury, but then they started knocking out the people of color.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sometimes tough because, like, here's the thing. When you're playing Survivor, and especially because now half the contestants, minimum, are going to be a person of color. I don't know if it just landed on there each of those times because I don't think everyone is just like, that's the spot we have to take him out. It's just like you're playing with someone. So if your target is a person of color, it's nothing personal. We're just
Yeah,
all playing the game.
Mhm.
Like, no one has that in their mind where they
yeah,
want it to be like that. It is weird that it has happened in, four in a row. That is like that is a weird coincidence. Don't
yeah.
get
Well,
me
I mean,
wrong.
I just like on this season where the split up teams were basically the same, just a weird coincidence. Odds. I mean, eventually everything comes, in a circle.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, definitely a interesting thing to point out there. But yeah, Tim kind of goes out here and then we get to
Well, also
oh,
sad. It was also sad when Tim left because then they lingered on him on the
yeah.
walkway crying. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, don't do that.
Yeah, I was not expecting
you
that
do
to be
feel bad
honest.
for him because it's
Yeah.
like
This is yeah.
because like one,
You've wanted to do
he's
this.
just
Yeah.
victim of Q, basically.
Yeah, victim of Q.
Yeah. I mean, he had the opportunity to save himself. Like, if he would have just agreed to the plan, like taking out Ben, like
Yeah,
he would have
yeah.
made the jury. Like, sometimes self-preservation when you're in that, like, do you make jury or not make jury? Maybe sometimes you just want to make sure you at least make it there.
That's right. But
That's fair.
I will give Tim credit. He had nice final words. Like he recovered super
Mhm.
fast. He was like crying, and then he gave like a nice like everything's fine, man. It's just a game.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely like his personality. Like he's very laid back. Yeah, sad to see Tim.
Maybe too laid back. I think that may have been the problem. But also,
Yeah.
I do hope in his exit press he told us when he pooped because it's been what 14 days now. So
Yeah, definitely. We need to know his poop cycle that
yeah.
happens. Figure out when it came out.
All right. Let's move along because Ryan is not liking this.
Yeah, he's about to barf. Yeah, we go on to I think it was at least to me it was the more interesting votes just because there is a lot of different things that potentially could have happened. Like there's a lot of plans that were in motion and some of them seem pretty like
Good.
feasible. Like I could
Yeah.
definitely see like, oh wow, this might
Yeah.
actually happen.
Yeah, that one, and everyone was playing their roles pretty well. Where it's like,
Mhm.
oh, Charlie is like, yeah, I'm screwed. And then it was the thing of like, okay, now we got to make sure that Venus seems comfortable, so she doesn't play her shot in the dark, if for anything, not to mess up the numbers. And then like, Soda like playing along with that as well. And everyone is kind of like they did a good job of like trying to hide stuff. Um, and like, make sure that people vote. the way that the votes are supposed to go,
Mhm.
essentially.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And yeah, well, like going into this, like who were you both like kind of leaning towards? Like, did you both think it was going to be Soto, or did you think we were seeing maybe a Venus or a Tevin, or go back to Charlie even?
I was leaning more towards Soda just because he's like Venus is getting this like edit, so
Yeah,
that was why. But that's basically the only reason.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think
I
that
think,
Venus was gonna go out because it's like because it was that moment with Mariah or Maria where it was like, "Hey, oh, so you don't wanna work with me. Okay, cool." And then also with the beef that was going on with Soto, so it's like, that's a double negative right there, and yeah, Maria was, like, trying to, like, talk to Venus, like, "Hey, you come on too strong," and stuff like that, and
yeah,
Venus, while was listening, I don't know how receptive she was of that, and not in the sense of, like it's one thing to hear criticism, it's another one to be like and take it in and be like,
yeah,
"Alright, roll with it."
yeah,
And
yeah.
especially right before Tribal and stuff, it's like stress and stuff is high, maybe that's not the forefront of your mind just to build your character up right then and there.
Yeah, she's not doing the Emily Flippin of hearing this criticism and then having this amazing character arc throughout the season.
Yeah, no.
She hears it and is like, "Oh, really? Well, screw you."
But I did like that conversation just because of Charlie in the background watching. I just love that where he's just like reacting in the background. He's like, oh shit.
Mm.
Ah, yeah, yeah. So so yeah, we finally get, the conclusion of the Venus Soda blood feuds. So now Venus can move on to all the other people who she keeps feuding with because she has to talk bad about every single person in the cast. Like
Mhm.
that is just her
Does.
defining traits.
Yeah.
So what do you think about Liz not bringing her back? Because I've heard different opinions
Mhm.
about this.
I
Um
mean, you go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely shows that you're comfortable, which is not good moving forwards. Like you want to, like even the people on the bottom, you want to kind of show a little bit of like I could also go
Mhm.
because that
Yeah.
at least gives them a certain signal by not bringing your bag. You're basically saying, I know I'm locked in with the people from my original tribe, and I know that I'm fine because of this.
Also, it's just like, just bring your shit.
Yeah,
Like, just in case for anything, if there's a weird idol play.
yeah,
Or maybe you may get sent to a new island or something, kind of like how in 44 when Matt didn't have his bag, so he couldn't play his shot in the dark. So like, oh, like
Yeah.
always have your bag, or at least have your shot in the dark. That's it.
definitely.
Yeah. It's like, might as well. Um, I I'll be honest, I'm a little indifferent. I was like, okay, yes, bold move, because that might read the wrong way to certain people, but I don't think going to tribal council, they're automatically gonna flip on her just because she didn't
No.
bring her bag.
Oh, I would. I would be like, guys, we need to flip the vote.
Yeah, yeah. I want all of her stuff from her bag.
Yeah, I want all of our stuff from her bag. She has a shot in the dark. Oh, but you're not allowed to get multiple ones. But she may have
Yeah,
an idol.
Good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Who knows? Sometimes just having some extra clothes that you can, wrap around whenever it's like raining or anything. Like that
That's right.
is technically an advantage that you could
Plus,
be getting.
plus, Liz is super rich, so you can
Yeah,
hold you can hold the bag hostage and for some ransom later
Yeah,
on.
exactly. Yeah, make her pay like an extra like 20K just to get back, her dirty bag.
Yeah.
yeah, that's like what, $100 to her. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so yeah, I think is there anything else that we want to discuss for the tribal council, or do we want to move on to confessionals? We usually do a confessional overview here
All
on
right.
the podcast.
Do you guys talk about the previews for next week?
We do a little bit.
Okay. Well, I mean, Jeff says I this is crazy. I've never seen this happen before. So,
Yeah,
what do you think that is? Because he's sitting down, so he's still talking to the people.
yeah,
I don't It's really tough to say. And also it could be Jeff just
Just
hyping up the tribal council
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
I think it's
Yeah.
Him
gonna be.
being a host.
I think it's gonna be Tevin and Venus going after each other, and then it's just a normal poop.
Yeah.
It'll be like Venus or a Q.
Yeah, I mean, I've it's probably like some whispers or something. I don't know. Like there's probably like a little bit of a ooh, this is kind of spicy, but I bet it's probably overblown
Yeah.
that we're getting.
Yeah, I'm kind of in line with Joe on that one.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Okay. Well, let's head over to confessionals. Have you been keeping track of confessionals, Matt? Do you kind of know where
Uh,
everything's been?
I know where Banu is at 35. I just saw that stat and I know that.
Yes, yes. He has more confessionals than Parvati in Micronesia.
Well, and also Bob
And
and
Bob.
because it was six different winners, and then Natalie from Samoa, but that one's obvious.
Yeah. Yeah. Most people have more confessionals than
Officials.
Natalie. Yeah. Okay. Well, the most confessionals right now, the top three are all from Yanu, of course.
Yeah.
So
Probably probably Kinsey up top,
yeah,
right?
yeah, Kenzie's got 42 confessionals. Um, and then Q and Tiffany both have 38 confessionals.
Can you
So
remember the last time Tiffany had a confessional? It feels like she's kind of like fallen off.
she's been talking every episode.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. She
Yeah.
she she
It
had
just
three
feels like
this episode.
oh
Yeah.
one's definitely about Q, but I don't remember what the other ones were.
Yeah, I mean
I
definitely
agree.
unmemorable. And then let's see who is the next highest. It's still Charlie with 33 confessionals.
Okay.
He's climbing his way up.
Yeah, yeah.
And
He's been having a big surge recently.
Well,
Uh
well, because now all the time isn't on Yanu. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, definitely. And then next up we got Venus with 28 confessionals. Um, she's had 7 confessionals in the previous episode, and then this episode she also got several confessionals.
okay,
yeah,
several multiple times. Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, that's pretty good.
several times, twice.
Yeah, on episode several.
On episode several, yeah.
So wait a
That
second.
means he
She's the
wins.
only person. Yeah, she's the only person on episode several.
Several to get several episodes to
Wins.
get several confessionals.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is.
yeah.
I mean,
Oh, that could be an Easter egg, which I stopped looking for those, even though Jeff says look every intro. I was like, I don't care.
yeah, yeah. Well, he tries to also say like there isn't a winner's edit.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
the yeah, like it's clear. Like they
Some
do it.
degree, but like we want a satisfying ending to the show. I would
Yeah.
say
Yeah,
I don't know who all knew for the votes prior to like when they announced it live at the reunion special, but because everyone knows at that point, it's hard to not lean it towards like you want to tell the best story you can of like
mhm,
who wins. So it's not just
yeah,
like, oh, like even with like Erica in 41, it was like, well, they have to give her something, even though like we didn't get to see too much of her pre-merge, especially, and a lot of the drama wasn't directly involving
yeah,
her
yeah,
because like, you had allies kind of going after one another on that one, and then like, oh, we got to take out all the yellow tribe. Oh, we don't trust Shan. Oh, Ricard's too much of a threat, and then everything just kind of trickled down. But
yeah,
like, they had to like build it up, otherwise, because like the winner of a season, if it's not a great winner, it kind of, I don't want to say tanks it, but it's like it makes people feel less about the season because it's like the ending. It's like, well, who
yeah,
wins? If people
yeah,
don't like the ending, then they're not as drawn to it.
yeah.
Kind of like
I've always believed
kind of
it's
like
the
43.
yeah.
Kind of
Oh,
like a season
I think
43.
43. Yeah, I mean, obviously, there could have been way better winners, but 43 at least, if you actually go back and rewatch it,
Yeah.
he has a very clear
Oh
winner's
yeah.
edits.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
very
Yeah, it does
clear.
it.
It's
Don't let
just
the
like
big beard fool you.
yeah, everyone just saw him and immediately writes him off and said it doesn't matter if he's getting a winner quotes and having this great backstory and
I feel it was,
positioned very
I
well in
feel,
the game.
yeah, I feel it was like he was so polarizing in the sense like you either knew this man was going to win, or he was.
Yeah. Yeah. And everyone was always commenting on him. That is also a very important thing in the winner edit is if other people are talking about you because that you like in a positive light. Like even when they
Oh,
were like
positive.
saying
Okay.
like even
Yeah,
him though, they were like, he's kind of goofy. Like I like him, but like he's kind of weird. Like, but it was always still a little more jovial about it instead of like, oh, this guy sucks. um so yeah, back to confessionals here. Venus had 28. Then it looks like we have Hunter with 26 confessionals. It's the next
Yeah,
highest.
that makes
Uh,
sense.
he had a very slow start. And then like skyrocketed out of nowhere. So yeah, he's at 26. Then it looks like we have a tie between Ben and Tevin with 23 confessionals.
Okay.
And
Then Maria
then
has to be coming up.
yeah, it looks like she's next with 16 confessionals. So a decent drop off. Yeah.
It's a huge
Yeah.
drop off. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm like checking. Also, in case anyone wants to know, Soda had 15 confessionals and Tim had 17 confessionals when they got voted off.
huh.
I
Um,
do not remember a single one from Tim.
yeah, he had 2 episodes where he had 0. So and this episode, he only had 1 confessional. His boot episode, one
Oh.
confessional.
And then how many did Soda have this episode?
2.
Okay, well, I guess we should pay attention to that.
Yeah. So yeah, and then so yeah, Maria's with 16, and then it looks like is that Liz is the last one here?
Yeah,
Yeah. She's got 11.
that makes sense.
She's got fat stacks, but in terms of confessional, she's not packing.
Yeah, it's I don't know, like she is definitely flying. I don't want to say under the radar because people are aware, but it's like what I said earlier about like big tribes.
Mhm.
It's like there's so much big threats around. No one's really looking at Liz as a threat, and therefore they're not giving her the attention for it.
Mhm.
They'll bring her in as a number. She's not like a pariah or anything,
Yeah.
but it's just like they're not coming to. I do. I am curious where her allegiances and whatnot lies because we kind of.
Her
It
bank
seems like
account.
yeah,
Yeah.
but when you're on Survivor, you can't necessarily rely on that because you can't necessarily bribe your fellow
Well,
contestants.
apparently Sash tried in season 21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he runner up or second
He
runner up?
was third.
He got
The
third
the the
place.
the, the rumor is that when he tried to bribe Jan, that production told everybody you're not allowed to vote for him, so he got 0 votes because the singer Chase Rice got runner up that season.
Yeah. Okay, well that does it here for confessionals. Let's go over to we also do MVPs and LVPs, most valuable player and least valuable player of the episode. I feel like LVP for me, I would probably give it to Q.
I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's the
Uh, just to be different, I might give it to Venus in the sense of like just like social gameplay where it's like you come off the bat, you accuse someone you're supposed to be tight with, or no, I wouldn't say tight with, you're supposed to at least be aligned or tolerate for a little bit. Has all this hostility and just like it's something where if Tevin didn't really want Soda out and whatnot, and that's where, Charlie and Maria choose to go, I'm pretty sure she would have just gone. Um, so I'm just gonna choose her.
eh, yeah.
Fair,
I think
fair.
it's cute. I think it's cute.
Yeah. I feel like Q, if he just like kind of chilled, like I feel like he wouldn't be at least the an immediate target the next 2, but like he
Yeah,
definitely could like made everyone go, okay, let's maybe even his own alliance is now kind of like I don't know if we need to be working with Q now, so
yeah.
not great. Um And then MVP,
I'm
I
going
mean,
Kinsey. I'm going Kinsey. I'm just jumping in. Sorry.
yeah, no, I think that's the right option, honestly. I feel
Yeah.
I'm way higher on Kenzie this episode than previously, which to
Hey,
me, yeah.
especially her bow. Did you notice her buff bow?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I've never seen a contestant do that before, so
Well,
she gets extra point.
I mean, Tim kind of did that earlier this season, but that was more like a slant one though.
yeah.
But this was like a full bow. I mean, Bob did the bow tie, but also
Yeah,
apparently,
but I mean
yeah,
specifically a
oh,
big
yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
But also apparently, in the last episode, she had like a palm frond scrunchie in her hair, which I didn't notice.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. Yeah, she's been doing some fun stuff there. So, definitely liking Kenzie right now. So I think that's definitely at least my choice.
Yeah, I don't know if
So
that's Ryan's choice because he may get her
yeah,
confused with Mo. So
yeah, he's kind of the MVP of episode several. Mo, who was not even in it.
I own up to my mistakes. I made a mistake because all I ever have is
are your
me making up.
mistakes? Yeah,
Yes,
all you have are your mistakes,
that's that add that to the list of freaking nicknames I have. Next one is Mr. Mistakes.
Mister Mistakes.
Doesn't have quite the big ring, but it has good alliteration, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, alliteration is important.
Hmm.
Um,
It is.
so you're going with Kenzie too, Ryan, or is there some other?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So at least we're in agreement on that. But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up here in terms of the episode. Is there anything anyone wants to talk about before we call it?
Watch Australian Survivor. I'm just telling. I tell you, the guys all the time. Watch that. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
the season was great. And then earlier, Ryan said that Tevin had the biggest recovery ever in Survivor history, but somebody in Australian Survivor had even a bigger one this season, which I don't even know how he did it. So I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's good. It's just like there's so much, and it feels
It,
like
it, it, it can be tough.
yeah. I mean,
Well,
it's not
I
as much as
mean,
Big Brother, but like I can't watch, but like I tune out of Big Brother after a little bit because it's like I'm done.
there.
I it's just I need to like set aside time and be like, okay. Because like if I'm watching like there's some shows that I will casually watch, and usually they might be a sitcom that I've already seen before or something like that, or I'll put on a YouTube video. But if it's something where it's like reality comp or like an anime that's like, big narrative driven or like
Mhm.
an hour long, episode kind of feel, I want to sit down and watch it. And so like with my busy ass life, it's tough sometimes because there's so many other things I'm trying to. I know one day I will. It just depends on when I take that initiative.
Yeah. To be fair, you are super busy because you are Captain America as shown by your outfit. So I mean, that's
Oh
just
yeah,
you. I mean, you are Captain America before he went into the machine, but somehow you have the outfit.
I make that joke all the I told that to Captain
Okay.
America at Disneyland.
Okay. Hey, but maybe next time you go to Disneyland, maybe you should challenge Captain America to a planking contest. Let's see how that goes.
That'd be dope. Uh, yeah. So guys, so apparently I'm this physical beast now, and so the guy that I beat in planking, just out of the blue, just messaged in the Heroes versus Villain chat. He challenged me to a rematch. It's just like, and this dude's not very active in that chat, except from him adding 2 cents here and there, and it was just out of nowhere. So tomorrow night or tonight, the 12th of April. I'll be doing another planking competition against this guy. For what stakes other than just cause he asked?
Yeah.
And
And
I'm like, sure, maybe we can get to 10 minutes, maybe 15, 20, an hour. Uh, let's
Yeah.
destroy our bodies
yeah,
just to see who's more macho.
and then if Ryan loses, I've come up with the tiebreaker of doing planking, but you have to build a tower of cards as well while you're planking, because that would
Yeah.
be the ultimate tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
I
know
feel
why
like
he doesn't. want to challenge like Pirate Sarah to that
No.
because that's the challenge he went home at.
Or
No, it's the
Kevin, or
specific,
Kevin. I mean, or
succinct one
yeah,
Yeah.
or
that has
challenge
just
Kevin
been
just for fun.
Yeah.
eating away at his mind.
Yeah, honestly, you two need to be captains on a captain season, and that will be the opening challenge is the plank, and that will determine what tribe goes to tribal first.
Like Coach versus Ozzy or
Yeah,
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
yeah.
But I'm retired, and there's
Uh,
only a few ways that I
But
will
but
get out of it.
just so you know, I've talked to Joe about this, and we've arranged Jeremiah will be on that season.
on your tribe.
Oh, okay. Totally. Totally. I believe it.
Uh, well, I believe that is the end of the episode. Rolling
Of
away
course, we
to
leave it off there.
Great ending. Thanks for having me, Joe. I'm glad that we finally worked together once in our
yeah,
lifetime.
yeah. This is
But
what
let's
what it could have been.
yeah, it could have been until you made up lies about me. But
In another timeline.
I've accepted it about it because you got eliminated basically because you were trying to save me. So I actually dragged you down into the jury, really.
That is
So
true. That is accurate. uh, now I
All
know
right.
not
Well,
to
Matt,
say people I lied about.
it was awesome having you on here. You're
Yeah,
always so much fun to have around, whether it's being a mod, whether it's going out to a bar to watch Survivor or anything. You're an awesome dude. You are the Cookie Monster, and we appreciate you.
thank you. And speaking of bars, as I told you, next Wednesday there's going to be another viewing party where Shannon Gus from Rob Has a Podcast will be there, and there may be other survivors there, but I don't know.
ooh, nice.
I am filming that day. I don't know when. Or like I know when, but not off the top of my head.
All right. Well,
So we'll
Joe,
see.
come on down south and into Hollywood on a Wednesday night. I'm sure the traffic and parking is going to be great.
Oh yeah,
He
without a
still
doubt.
hasn't been to one yet.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't managed to make it.
Well, you live so far away, nobody really goes there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, I come down, but like it just has never kind of like worked out. Like I'm usually coming back like a week before like these things, and then it's just like I don't want to then have to come back down quickly afterwards, and it's just
Just always stay. Uh,
yeah, yeah,
I
All
know.
right.
I know.
Well, thank you again for having me. This was awesome. I got to chat with Joe Kingpin and Darman. This is, I guess, my life is fulfilled. So thank you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for being here, Matt, and yeah, thank you everyone for watching episode several review.
All right. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.